first full episode.
Yeah, but it's the second video from this new space.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe you need to speak up a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is the second video we're doing in the new space, but it's the first video where we really set up the space. And we've been in this space from the day we record this video for about 2 months already.
Yeah.
Because we're recording this video in the middle of May, in the middle of March. We've also had quite a number of workshops in this space. Most memorable was our series of workshops and seminars with Robyn Spady of heddle craft. Weavers would know her quite well because Robyn is very well read and very she knows a lot of things about weaving and
her weaving knowledge is very widespread. She's not focused on just one area or one particular type of weaving. She basically knows.
She knows a lot, and she practices a lot of different types, and she really understands the execution and the characteristics of the different weave structures and what you can do as a weaver, what you can play around with, and how you can stretch it further. So we had a wonderful time having her in town. We hope she had a wonderful time too. We took her to eat quite a lot of food. Robyn is very adventurous, I think. With traveling, she really immersed herself in the local culture. She did do a few typical sightseeing locations.
Yeah, those that are really worth a visit.
Yeah, but she also went with us, to eat at the food courts locally, the wet market,
center.
Yeah, the coffee shops. Even in the heat, she was here at the time when it was really fairly warm.
No, she was here when it was warm, but it was before the heat.
Yeah, it was before the major heat wave, but it was still warm.
Yeah.
I think from climate.
Yeah,
from where she's coming from. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. I was just telling Robyn, typically I don't eat so much on a day-to-day basis, but because she was here, we really let her try everything local. I think the whole time she was here and had meals with us, she didn't have anything Western.
No.
It was always Asian.
Nothing remotely Western.
Yeah. So we hope that there will be other instructors that will be keen to do classes. If you are an weaving instructor that's not here locally and you're passing by this area and you would like to run a couple of classes, meet up with us. You don't have to be a weaving instructor. You could even be a knitting or
any craft,
any fiber craft. Yeah. To get in touch with us, we would love to host you and see how we can introduce you to what we have here locally. Yeah. But anyway, back to the studio. We know we promised a more detailed look at the studio. So there will be, I'm going to, at this point, it's probably where I'll put in a short clip of what the space looks like coming in. In this space, there isn't really as clear a definition between our retail and our workshop. Actually, most of this space is going to be like a workshop learning space with retail being like a side feature.
Yeah, so the main difference between this new studio and our old spaces is no clear demarcation based on the flooring or the partition. We have a big open space here, and we try to maximize the multi-purpose use of the space by having moving furniture, moving displays, so that when the need requires, we can push things aside and rearrange so that we can have bigger classes. We can have, if we do happen to have, say, a trunk show or something, we can also shift the workshop site over so that we can have a bigger retail area for the shopping experience for those short few days or something.
I think in this space we also have a lot of natural lights, we have a lot of windows, and the windows look out to very good views. Like one of them is the fountain view. You will see the kind of like mid-roof garden that is in this building, and we are very, very fortunate to be in the only unit that actually has a window view to the waterfall feature. Yes,
Yeah,
because the other side is corridor.
No, but those other units,
Yeah, but they don't see this water feature.
yeah,
They just see the water feature. They see the garden, but not the waterfall. And then we also have the street view, but thankfully this area of the street view actually has low-rise buildings, so we get a lot more greenery and light. And in fact, when Robyn was here doing her workshop, a few times we all got distracted because we would see because actually out far ahead of us is actually the Paya Lebar.
we are just maybe about 2-3 kilometers away.
Yes.
Yeah,
So actually right now at this period of time, we see a lot of National Day rehearsals, the flight formation rehearsals. So we would stop and see, or when there is a lightning storm, actually the windows give a very, very, very mesmerizing view.
Yeah. And also because recent festivities.
Oh yes, the Hari Raya
Yeah.
light up, which they had actually just removed, so it's not on our video clip. But yeah, so this space is largely set up to be more of a studio learning space. I think people who are very used to us having a dedicated retail section were a bit thrown off when they came in, because then they walk around trying to find other retail displays, only to realize that actually most of our displays right now are more workshop studio.
Yeah. So our retail is now reduced about half a wall plus some moving racks.
It's about a quarter or between a quarter to half of what the old space used to be for retail section. I think it goes back to us talking about how we want to move towards a more curated. We may do more group orders, pre-orders, like the one we recently just did, the Sweet Georgia and Morris Passat ones. We may not stock as much because we operate very niche craft. Like spinning and weaving, our experience has been that we will stock, but it takes forever to clear the inventory.
Because what we stock could be colors or yarns that we think people want to use, but actual weavers go, no, actually I don't want these colors, I want those colors. So it's easier to do pre-orders.
Yeah. And not just that, I think for like spinning, like if we order at wholesale rates, we have to order at wholesale rates to give you a good pricing. Otherwise, it's just not going to be competitive. The pricing is just not going to be competitive. But when we want to offer you order at wholesale rates, there are wholesale quantities. So wholesale quantities for like spinning fibers are like 10 kilograms. You know how long it takes to spin 10 kilogram fibers?
And not just that, the 10 kilogram is not say 20 varieties and you just pick up the 10 kilogram.
Yeah.
It's
Each variety
is 1 kilogram.
Yeah.
And if someone just wants 100 gram of something and we put in a 1 kilogram order, then we are stuck with the 900 gram and say, who else would like this? It would take a while to find people to be interested in the same things.
Yeah. So I think what you'll see us talking up a lot more of are things that we use in our classes, things that perhaps are more subsequently more project based, maybe more individualized. We're trying to move towards a model where maybe we'll do more study groups, more variety of workshops. So we bring in varieties for those bases. So we know that it's going to be a consumption of those like materials, because we also don't have the space to store them here in this much smaller operating.
Our tiny storage area is
Small.
currently quite full.
Yes, it is. But we're doing it slowly, clearing it out and packing it up. So I think on that point of not having as much of a retail space and this being more a workshop studio space, we wanted this month to also introduce all of you to this idea of how you can use the studio. I think most of you will be familiar that we have a studio pass system where you pay on a day use basis, and there's a base charge for the day use, which is $15. That's for the use of the space.
Like you get a table space or you get a floor space if you want to lay things out.
You get a seat to come in. If you need extra tools or equipment, there's a separate charge for it.
So just tag on 2 charge. So if you're coming in to blend fibers, then
the blending board or the drum cutter. If you're coming in to use the warping board, because maybe you have a small warping board at home, but you wanted one that would let you get more than 10 liters, you have a larger warping board, and then there's a $10 to charge. Or if maybe you want to sew something and you don't have a sewing machine with enough power, and you wanted to use our machines, then there's a charge for that. Separately, if you need supplies from us, I think this one we will see less of because we no longer provide as big a range of studio supply. We realize it's very hard to provide because everybody got their own preference. But we still have some supplies, so will still continue the supplies charge at $10 for the supplies we need. But we have seen that most people who come to studio don't take on the supplies. They will come with their own supplies.
Because it does make more sense if you have a specific project in mind that you have specific supplies that you want to use for that project.
What you're short of is only the tools.
Yeah. So what we used to provide material-wise was to give people an assortment of, say, yarns, so that you could experiment. Okay,
Or fiber.
You want thin yarn, you want thick yarn, you want textured yarn, you want novelty yarn. But over time, we've seen people who are not just exploring, people who already have some idea in mind how they want to proceed with the project. Then they're more likely to come in with their own yarn and say, yeah, this is what I'm using, and this is how I want my project to look. Yeah.
So we still keep the studio pass. I think we will still continue to support that because there are people who just need it once off. But we'll keep it as that. What we're phasing out with the move to this space is last time studio packages. So we used to allow you to buy credits for studio in larger quantities. Like instead of buying paying per day, you can buy a fixed amount, you get 10% extra like monetary value credits, which then we will deduct as a result of your use of the studio pass. But we found that that doesn't quite serve the purpose because for people who come once, they get the studio packages but they don't consume it. Like they don't finish it. So we still have people on our packages which have bought it 2 or 3 years ago and have not completed it. We didn't use to put an expiry date on it because we feel like we want to honor the money that you put into the studio. But it is actually an accounting nightmare because it is a liability. Like, I still owe you those money, and year on year we keep rolling it as a liability to the next year.
And we keep messaging.
Yeah, we keep reminding people
so that you have credits with us.
Please come.
It's money that's spent. Do use it.
Yeah, please
right?
come.
Yeah.
You know, if you were in a gym membership, they'll tell you too bad. If you didn't use it, you didn't use it, right? But for us, we try to honor what we promised you.
So there are people who have used it only once after they bought it. Yes. So it is largely non-utilized, right? So we're trying to encourage people to clear it so that it's money that you spend, use it. So don't accumulate it with us and then we don't know after a few years what to do with it because it's we don't want to just cancel it and say too bad,
So I think for people who you know who you are and you own credits with us, we would have gotten in touch with you, tell you that I think after chatting with people for accountancy advice, we've decided that 31st December will be when it's the deadline for us to honor whatever has been bought beforehand. Okay, so after 31st December, we will not honor any more of these studio packages. So please come and utilize it because my friend who does accountancy works like you need to stop carrying over this liability. It's very hard to account for it. Yeah, so all those we will stop. You have till 31st December. If you want to convert it to something else, come in and have a chat with us. You can allow you to convert it to offset against certain workshops that you run. Yeah, so then it will help you use up those credits if you can't come into your project. We have stopped. So since the move here, we have stopped allowing people to purchase these credits because we were cancelling the system. What we're replacing it with is if you just want to do a once-off project, one-time try, just pay for that thing. Yeah. If you have a small project that you think you're going to, we're moving to this system called membership system. So for people who, there are 4 tiers. Okay, the first tier I think which will be the easiest to explain are the people who come in to weave on our looms. What we call our drop-in weaving membership because we have regulars who do that. They come, they weave, and in the past we will charge them for studio, charge them for tools, and then charge them for the length of the weaving that they do. What we are doing now is we are having this system where if you purchase this drop-in weaving, you will need to come in 4 times. It allows you to come in 4 times over 3 months. So we give you 3 months validity for it. You can come in 4 times to weave on the looms that have a warp ready for you to drop in weaving. It will allow you to come in, use the loom for the day, get up to 2 meters of weaving. Okay, anything more than 2 meters, you can weave more than 2 meters. You just pay the additional top up, $10 per meter. Yeah. So you pay an additional top up. But we have found that actually for people who come in for a day. Usually 2 meters is about the max.
And if you are looking at a quick project, then 2 meters for a scarf or shawl is just nice.
It's very decent size.
Right. If you are looking to weave yardage to make a top, a dress, or a pair of pants, or whatever, then you might want to plan either a really full day, like morning to close, or you come in over multiple sessions.
But if you're doing yardage for clothes, I think you also use finer wet yarn. So it might take you actually even a 1 full day unless you weave very fast.
Yeah.
You might not get the yardage that you need because you're using finer yarn. When we see people who can get up to 4 meters in a day, right? It's really because their yarns are much thicker.
Use like fingering or DK,
yes,
but can get there. But
I'm not sure they're going to make that into top.
Yeah, but if you are making yardage for, let's say, a top, you might want to use lace weight, right, or very fine weaving yarns. Then to get, say, for a top for myself, I would need probably about 2 meters to get comfortable with cutting, you know.
Yeah.
So that might take a full day instead of just 2-3 hours.
So for that's the price. Again, this membership does not include materials. So our membership does not include materials. We expect that people who take on this membership have a project in mind. They're not doing it for exploratory means. Okay, if you are doing it for exploratory means, then we will say go to our standard studio pass. Because that has the flexibility of you can do it in smaller quantities. You can do one time, 2 hours you don't like, fine. It's just a 2-hour commitment. Membership are really for people who have a project in mind, like a committed time.
And you decide that this activity is for you. You really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So you want to commit time to it, and because membership does offer a little bit of discount, right? So if you were to come in 4 individual sessions on the day pass,
with the weaving, I think it's about 60-ish, $60 to $80. So if we talk about drop-in weaving, right? If you just do like a one-time, bring your own supplies plus yardage, I think it could be anywhere from 60 to about 80,
depending on what you weave.
Depending on how long you weave, the length that you weave up. But for people who are like, you know what, actually we like this, and we want to come multiple times, and it doesn't make sense then for them to be like 80 each time, or like 60 each time. So then what we say is, you know what, then we will give you a discount because you are committed to come 4 times. We're trying to make it possible for you to come in and not incur so much expense. So that's the drop-in weaving membership. That's a standalone because that's very on its own.
So
it's very particular. It's a fixed project.
Because it has an expiry date, meaning once you pay for the membership, you have 4 sessions within 3 months. So for those who are thinking about, say, weaving yardage, then you might want to consider when's a good time for you to take it up. Like, you don't have to have a continuous membership with us. You can take it, say, okay, month of June I'm free, right? I've got a few days of leave off. I can commit myself to a few sessions of weaving, then just take it up for the month of June.
So you don't need to use 3 months to finish.
And it doesn't have to be a running membership. So it's not like, oh, because I signed up for it, I pay for it in January. The next time I pay for it, I must pay for it in April. I must pay for it.
Only if you use it. So the membership will support people who want to do it like once off, come 4 times in the same week. Or we have some regulars who come every week or every fortnight. They just take it like a mindful thing, or they do it once a month. So that's why we thought for this particular one, we'll do it in a 3-month format. It's like a quarter of the year. It's kind of easy to remember.
And a lot of people these days, because of more flexible arrangement, they get some time to themselves, because if you have a work from home day, you settle your work and say, I've got 2 hours. What do I do with my 2 hours? You can come in for a session of weaving and go home with the project.
Okay, so when we say 3 months, the membership system goes in the number of weeks. But we say 3 months because actually what I've done is I've given you 14 weeks. And 14 weeks is more than 3 months actually. So we round up. So we will say, okay, actually 3 months is 93 days, right? At the most it will be 93 days. So I already give 14 weeks. I cover extra. But we say 3 months because I think it's easier for people to think in months than in weeks.
But just imagine that some months you have 5 weeks or 4.5 weeks.
So we just give you extra. Okay? So just to make it easier for us. For there to be a common language between you and the system that you use to record your membership. It's a database system on our platform. So it's not manual. It's no longer a manual card that the people use to sign. So if you're not into weaving and or you want to mix, you don't just want to do weaving, or you want to do your own weaving, you don't want to use an existing loom that we have dressed, then we have the next set membership. There are 3 tiers to that membership. So these are more like the what we call the general studio membership. So the first tier is the novice or the project crafter. So you're just starting, maybe your project is not too extensive, it's a once off, you just need a space. Yeah, you need occasionally come in, maybe at the start you need to blend the fiber, then you spin a bit, then you come in and do something else. So this is more flexible, slightly more affordable. It allows you to come to the studio 6 times. So if you come to the studio 6 times and you use the tools, if we charge you per visit, you will remember the studio pass is 15 plus the $10 studio tools if you use the tools, so it's 25 per visit. If you come 6 times, it's about $150. So you say, okay, never mind, because you are willing to commit to 6 times, we give you a discount, you get 10% discount. So that allows you to do 6 studio visits, you get to use the tools. Now, if you need instruction, like you need us to teach you, or you need us to provide supplies, those are separately chargeable. Separate.
But for this 6 sessions, if you are planning a project that requires you to take some time, because not all projects are quick and easy, right? Because sometimes you may have an idea to say, okay, could I weave yardage, then I come in to do some sewing and then I do some finishing, then yeah, you will take.
Or you come in, you blend some fiber. So your first visit, you blend some fiber. You wear a spin off. Then you come back and you use the warping board to measure out your warp. Then you take it back, you weave at home because you have a loom. Or you come again and use our loom, you weave here, and then you have sewing after that. So then that will take several visits, right? So we have this membership, and then we give you 6 visits, but we give you 14 weeks, so 3 months. Because we also know sometimes if there's no timeline, your project will be a work, WIP forever.
It could take you 1 week to blend the fibers, then another 2 weeks before you start spinning it.
So it's like that bit of time crunch. If you don't like the time crunch, then you go on the pay-per-visit version. But this is some kind of structure to help people get things done. So this is what we call the novice of the project. So there's a longer time duration for you to use it up, because maybe you're not as experienced with what you're doing,
and
maybe you want to give some time.
Maybe because you're starting out in the craft, you know you will need time to complete different stages. Like if you're just doing, say, a knitting project, if you're just starting out, a knitted shawl could take you 6 months. Who knows, right? So
we use that as a basis. To say that's the amount of time. We use quota. We don't use half-year system, because then there's a very high chance a lot of rollover will still continue.
Or people won't get the motivation to finish. The fact that there's a deadline means,
put
there's a bit of push.
Put some fire under. Okay, then of course, if you are like, okay, that kind of works, but I want something more, the pace is even tighter.
Or something more regular. Like if you look at our studio as a space where you enjoy being in this space. You enjoy, you like the vibe, you like this atmosphere, you like the company, right?
Clouds.
You like the fact that there is someone who could maybe just chit chat with you as you're doing your work, and you like how everything is set up. So you have got the space to lay out the fabric, you've got the space to lay out your yarn, then
a bit like you like the concept of like our weekly community night, but you don't actually like the social factor of the community night. You just want the space on a weekly basis. Then the next 2 tiers will be for you, because the lower tier is called the casual crafter studio membership. And one is in 5 weeks, we give you 5 times to come with the tools. Which basically works up to once a week.
But it doesn't have to be once.
If you want 2 times a week,
you want to consume the 5 times in 1 week, because you're clearing it.
Maybe you got enforced leave. Some companies have enforced leave, right? So that week you have free. Then you want to come every day. Sure.
That works.
As long as you're open every day that week. Sure. Then you just come 5 times. We actually had designed it as so it says 1 month. On the website it says it's 1 month. But sometimes 1 month got 28 days, got 31 days. We just remember, we just round up. Okay, 35 days. Can give you excess. Then initially we thought we give four times because 1 month 4 weeks. Then we said, never mind. We just be generous, just give you 5. So that's why we worked out to be 5 visits and then over
5 weeks.
5 weeks. Yeah, and then it's a package goes at $100. So if you think about it, it's like $20 per visit. So it's a bit like last time when we had the studio package, where you get that 10% extra credits, but the only difference is there's an expiry date, and it's very clearly defined what each of those visits entails. You will definitely have tools offered. So you may ask, but I only want to need, I don't need to use the tools here. Then yeah, but it doesn't matter. 5 visits, you come 5 visits for meeting, that's still going to be the charge. Because we're trying to work less.
So for some people, these memberships may not work out to be as more cost effective. If all you're doing is knitting, then you don't need to use the paper because it will work out,
and then it's easier for everybody. Okay. So then, of course, after the casual crafter, we have the what we call the committed, the more hardcore ones. Then they come in the course of 1 month, 5 weeks. We give them 10 visits. Okay, in the past, we have people who come and they want to do extensive, bigger projects on the floor looms. Now, to set up the multi-shaft looms, whether floor or table looms, it's a good 2 to 3 days to just dress the loom for the project. And after that, the weaving may take another 2 to 3 days or even longer, depending on the yardage that they put on. So we say like the maximum to put on the loom. I think dressing the loom plus weaving it will probably take you about 100 hours of your time. That's what we used to give as an estimate for people who do baby wraps, about 7 to 8 meters of fabric weaving. And most of them do hit that 100 hours. Dressing, and then project design, dressing, and then weaving. So we decided that we would still have a tier that can cater to people who has this intention. You don't have to weave a baby wrap, but you want to weave, for example, a blanket or a yoga mat or enough fabric to make a dress. This is the kind of commitment we are looking at. We don't encourage you to take too long because you will lose steam, you lose momentum.
Tension is different.
Yeah. So that's why we say we keep it to 5 weeks. We want you to finish it, but we don't need you to do 100 hours consecutive over a week. We give you 5 weeks, so you pace your body out as well. That gives you, so this tier will give you 10 visits with the use of tools.
The main thing is, if you're looking at holding a loom over 5 weeks, then there are extra loom holding charges. Because once a project is on the loom, no other projects can be done on the same loom. Yeah.
So this is the part where we can't really tell you. I mean, last time we used the loom holding charges, but because we take up this membership, I think we need to discuss what your project intention is. Then we see how we will adjust the loom holding charge, because you are already committed to 5 weeks already.
Yeah.
I can't possibly charge you 5 times the weekly charge.
Yeah. But because some people, when they take up this membership with an idea of, let's say, weaving yardage, then it could be I've got 2 weeks off.
Yeah. Then just 2 weeks
and you can utilize this over the 2 weeks. You don't need to carry over 5 weeks. So the loom holding charges could be much lower than expected because the loom is not held up for 5 weeks.
Yeah. And also what kind of loom? Some looms that we have multiples of, like if you just go use a rigid heddle loom, the charges will not be crazy because we have multiple of those looms.
Yeah. But if it's a single one particular loom that you're using, and we might have other projects that are lined up, then yes.
Or we have other commitments that belong to the studio. So yeah, then that one we will discuss, but at least we have this membership system. I think the membership system is also an indication that we really are trying to move towards a system where we are really a studio that's here to support your fiber crafting journey and needs, not a studio that is not a retail.
Yeah.
We're really not a shop. We are a studio. That's what we're trying to define. We're going to move more towards education, outreach, getting more people to know what this is all about,
so,
rather than buying, just buy.
Oh, but there is a...
Oh yes, for the people who are very committed and then take up this 10 visits over 5 weeks, right? Usually the people who take this up are people who have big projects in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, and you think about how
they are very big on crafting. Like, it's a big part of their life. So they already spend a lot of time on it. and they're likely to spend quite a bit of.
They will need supplies. I think to fund a project that will need 10 studio visits over 35 days. So then people who are on this particular membership, let me say we give you a 5% discount on purchases that you may make on in-store items.
Yeah, during the membership.
Yeah, during the membership period. You are asking, would this 5% apply to like special orders? We can't guarantee that because usually when we do a special order, that means you need yarn for your project, and we specially order through our relationship with our suppliers. There's usually a small order that's already tagged by the suppliers. So I'm not sure if we can still give you 5% discount when there is that small order. So that one we cannot say because we cannot blanket say you will have it or you won't have it because different suppliers have different arrangement when it comes to small orders. Some suppliers don't mind. Some suppliers tag a very high small order. So we discuss, okay, all those special order you come in, we discuss. We are committed to supporting your journey. We're committed to helping people get bigger projects done because that's our purpose of that's what we can do because we have the equipment and the tools to make those projects happen, which you may not have at home and you don't really need to own it at home.
I mean, part of having a studio is a very communal kind of concept where you don't need to own the tools. You have access to tools when you need it. Yeah. Personally, I don't own a working board.
Yeah, she just uses the one.
I use the one in the studio when I need to walk.
So think of it as we are like a fiber maker space. You know, like now how we have maker spaces that got like 3D printers, shared laser cutters. So we are like the equivalent, but we deal with fiber crafts, and it's very niche. And because it's so niche, we figured it helps to have a space like ours.
Because as much as I love spinning, I don't own fiber blending tools because I don't spin every day, and I don't need to own the tools.
Use it once a year.
Use maybe 2 times a year when I'm blending my fibers. It doesn't make sense. Economically, spatial wise, I don't have the space and I don't want to spend the money because fiber blending tools are expensive. A drum cutter is easily
$300.
Yeah.
Even a warping board. I say we talk about warping board, right? We have studio users who come and then they in one day, because in one day you can actually measure out about 3 to 4, or if you're fast, you can even measure out 5 warp chains. And the 5 warp chains, if you weave 1 warp chain a month, it will last you a half a year. And so that's what some people do. They own the loom at home, but they don't own the warping tool.
Because a lot of weaving accessories, most of them are costly. They
use and only one stage.
Yeah, and they take up a fair bit of space. And if you don't store them properly at home, they can get damaged. Like a warping board, while it's not delicate, there are parts that stick up. And if you put it behind the door and just slam your door on,
the board may not spoil out, but your wall might get dented.
Yeah, and your pegs might get a bit mangled. And then it's not worth all the hassle.
So we have that. So I think if we go back to this idea of like this is a studio, this is like a fiber maker space, then this is what I think this is what we have decided that really should be the focus for crafting. Yeah. So that's the membership part. And okay, so then of course people have also told us, then we have membership but we don't know what to do. We have a membership but have no clue what we want to do. Okay. And I think people have been enjoying the study groups that we've done. We've done fiber study groups, so we've done spinning, and we've done the weaving study groups. And I guess maybe over time we'll roll out other forms of study group. Oh, we have had a sashiko study group. It was a bit of a closed group because we did it only with the first run of folks who did the sashiko class. We did the sashiko class that we ran. So we made the study group made a jacket which I happened to be sitting on. Yeah, so this was like we decided that we're going to use our sashiko in a wearable. So we found this particular jacket pattern. So it's a Japanese inspired jacket pattern, and we came together as a group to sew the jacket, and we all decided where different places where we put the sashiko. So for me, I put it at the collar. Some of my study group participants put it at the back. So when you wear the jacket, it's like at the back, it had sashiko design. Some did it the full stretch of the collar. Some did it at the pockets, the cuffs. So it's up to you. So for me, I did it at the collar because I have another jacket. So the reason why the study group did this jacket was because I actually had an original jacket. I made this jacket before. This is my second piece, and to show them how you could use sashiko in your wearable, I took that jacket that was made during COVID and I did it during circuit breaker, and then I stitched the sashiko on the pocket. Yeah, to give them an idea of how it could be used. So when I did this jacket, I didn't want to do it at the pocket again, so I did it at the collar, the collar panel. Yeah, so we did have also a stitching study group. We will probably come up with more various ones as we move into this concept of like a fiber maker space slash studio. But what we wanted to share is this year, 2 study groups that I will be running for weavers. In particular, the weavers who had been here with Robyn during her masterclass series. I think the general consensus and feedback from our participants of that masterclass is Robyn had so many ideas. At that point when Robyn was talking about doing her workshops or doing her seminars, they had all these ideas of projects that they want to do. Now, it's one thing to have ideas. It's another thing to actually execute those ideas. And when, without Robyn here, people are like, well, I have these ideas, I will do it. I will do it.
Generally,
When you will do it,
to be committed to something, to be committed to a series of projects,
you need
not
deadlines.
and not be interrupted, because sometimes you
Life
see-
gets in the way.
yeah, like I have maybe about 10 whips right now, simply because I see something, oh, let me cast this on, and then
I have fun. I
I
like
have
it.
fun, I like it. After a while, I get bored with it. Okay, let me put this aside. Oh, what's another project? Let me.
Yep. So with that, I will be running 2 study groups, weaving focused study groups, related to some of the things that Robyn had talked about in the class.
Because when Robyn came for her class, she came with ideas on how you could
Push your weaving further.
change up certain things within the weaving parameters, and you get something completely different out of it, based on how you set up the weave. And that is something quite
Unique.
unique in the sense that a lot of people start weaving by learning how to set up the loom, doing the weave,
Following like the instruction.
yeah, you set up the loom differently and you weave it differently, and then that's it. There is no, you set up in method A, you weave with method B. You're like,
So in we're both ex-teachers. So in teaching terms, we will say we want to have these study groups to kind of scaffold your learning and push you into your zone of proximal development. That means what you can do, that little bit outside. Then when you get there, you go that little bit outside. So that's really the purpose of these study groups.
and study groups mean you are in a group setting where you get help, right?
But
And
everybody can go in projects that are more than, it's not a fixed assignment. There's a fixed theme for each assignment, but it's up to your interpretation, and we're here to support you.
and you can be as adventurous as you want, or
It's conservative.
you can play in a safe zone and say, okay, I'm gonna change up something, but I'm not going so far out that I don't know what I'm doing.
Because everybody's like comfort level, that zone of proximal development is actually quite different. So a study group allows for that. So if you go to our website, we will put up all these links. I'll put them in the description below, video description below. It will say 2024 masterclass cohort. Why we say this is because we're going to be making references to ideas or concepts that Robyn had shared in her masterclass with us, whether workshops or seminars. Okay, so we will. What if you didn't attend the masterclass? You could still join. I'm not saying you can't. The only thing is we will not provide the notes that we had received at Robyn's class. I think to be fair to Robyn, she's designed those notes and handouts for the participants of the workshops and the seminars. If you haven't attended those, then I don't think it is appropriate for us to just give you a copy of the notes. Okay? But the themes are broad enough that you could still participate in the study group with your own project and your own research. You may just feel like, sometimes when you make certain references, you may feel a bit like, oh, what are they saying?
And I guess participants who had attended Robyn's class will have easier references simply because
They have the handouts.
they have the handouts. But it doesn't mean that you can't get the same references, because
I mean, Robyn publishes heddle craft. You could go and buy a copy of the heddle craft.
and there are many other living resources out there that point out to the same thing. So if you're looking at, say, color sampling, for instance, you can find many references to the same thing, right? It just means you have to do a little bit of homework, which I think helps in learning about the weaving itself, right? Sometimes it's not just following the instructions for a project. It says, oh, you do this and then step 1, step 2, but you don't really know what is going on. Yeah, so in the study group, you kind of force yourself to learn a bit more than just following instructions.
So very quickly, because we're also not trying to make sure that the video doesn't run on for too long. So very quickly, these groups will run from July to November. So it's 5 months. We've shortened down the length of our study groups. It's 5 months. We'll meet 7 times. You will do 3 projects. So there's 3 teams in each of the study group. Now, however, I divided the study group. I will have one for the multi-shaft weavers. These will typically be the people who came for her workshops, the 2 days in-person workshop when we were working with a multi-shaft group. Then I have a rigid header study version, which is for people who have come for the seminars. Question is whether can you use a multi-shaft group in the rigid header group? You can, because the rigid header groups are designed such that actually if you do a standard plain weave, you will be fine, and you can do that on a multi-shaft group. With a rigid header loop, can you do the multi-shaft group? You could, but you need to go and decide for yourself how are you going to work with your loop to make a multi-shaft project. I'm not going to provide that bridging for you. You will have to do it. If you need me to bridge it for you, it's a separate instruction, not part of the study group. Okay, so both groups will actually run on the same day. I think it's a Sunday. They all run on Sunday. One will run in the morning, one will run in the afternoon. So you could even, if you wanted to, sign up for both groups. Okay. So the dates will be on the sign up link. When you go to the link to see the description, you would see it. But for the rigid header one, what I'm going to do is I can tell you the 3 teams. The first team is color and weave. So you will be playing with colors and how you can give different weaving looks just by. So this is similar to, I guess, some of the ideas that Robyn had, the taming of the hue seminar. Okay, so you can explore some of the ideas there. And the second project will be going wild with texture and materials. So this is actually a bit tied to the third seminar that she did. She talked about great weave structures for novelty materials. And then the last project theme is pushing boundaries with manipulation. Okay, because then I actually want you all to go beyond, because I think Robyn's lecture, she said actually with color and weave and texture and material, a plain weave works already. But if you push and go beyond a plain weave, some slight manipulation, whether it's lace, lino, or maybe double header weaving on a rigid header loom, you get to a next level. So that's why the last project is the next level. We want you to push boundaries and do some kind of hand or loom manipulation. Okay, so that's for the rigid header study group. For the multi-shaft groups, then we kick things off by doing a project straight from your notes. You just pick any draft in the notes and just do it. Just follow the instruction, because it's a bit like revisiting what you did in the workshop.
And also because during the workshop, Robyn gave us a lot of options.
A lot. Then you read small samples only.
And in each, other than the parallel threading, even then she had options for 4 shafts, 6 shafts, 8 shafts. Yeah. So when you work with different number of shafts, you have different threading, you will weave different patterning, and you have different color
play.
Yeah, so there's a lot. Like if we were just to work on projects from the notes, it would take us a while to finish
more than one
everything.
study.
Yeah, because when we attended the workshop, every workshop we choose 1 threading to work with, right? And sometimes for the 4 shaft, there's 3 threading. So you have, based on the manipulation and kind of things that you make, you have more than 20, 30 patterns to work on. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is like warm up lah. After, because you only start in July, right? So maybe what you learned in April you forgot already. So I give you a gentle warm up. Just do straight from the notes. Okay. Then the second project is actually we want to encourage you. We're going to call it creating a workshop gap. I would then say actually Robyn has multiple patterns in the notes that she had multiple drafts, and we are trying to. In the second project, I want you to kind of like create like a little bit like a workshop gem sampler. Okay, so you will then be able to see like the different patterns in one single fabric.
So
a few lah, maybe not all the patterns,
but
with
you
one
can play
fabric.
around with a lot. Say if you have a loom that allows you to do 3 different threadings of the same loom, right? And then you could have different threadings. So it means every section you can have grids of multiple patterns. It's just
It doesn't have to be different patterns.
Yeah.
Like for those of you who were at the workshop, the parallel threading one, I had 3 colors in striping. So that in itself is, again, it's just to see how colors, the choice of different interaction of colors, can change the same pattern, like the same draft, but it can look different.
You can do monotones, you can do multicolors, you can play around with
So
many options.
it's just open in that sense. And then the last one is I would like you to do, the theme is incorporating into a hand woven item. So to actually create a project with an end in mind. So you're not starting with the draft and then like have the draft and decide what you want to do. You actually start by what do I want it to be at the end? Do I want it to be a table runner? Do I want it to be something that I wear? Something that I make in the bag? What is it? And then you work backwards to decide which structures amongst everything that you learn in the workshop is the best for them. So that's the 3 things for the multi-shaft group. I think the question that some people may have is, what if I only attended one workshop? Or what if I only attended one seminar? Then can I still participate in the study group? The answer is yes. Yeah, you don't have to have done all her workshops or all her seminars. I kept the team broad enough so that there's a chance for everybody to do it, even if you've only attended one of the entire, or like earlier on we said, even if you didn't attend, you could still do this study group. The whole idea is, if within the group, different people have done different things, then you get a sense of, hey, what else can I explore? I might not have done the workshop, but this is something interesting. I want to read further. I want to know more. That's always an option. Yeah. So I think that's really the purpose of running these study groups. And because I'm running both of these groups in the second half of the year, it's not likely that I will be running a stitching study group for the rest of the year. I think some of my stitching study groups, if anything, if I do, it will be like really towards the late quarter, the 4th quarter of this year. But of course, we still have our here. So maybe all of you can like DM or leave comments, encourage her to run knitting or spinning or crochet study groups. One more person.
We shall see.
So I guess this is a long video. It's a really long video because there's a lot of change that we spoke about. There's also this big study group thing that we are hoping to kick off to get going. It's kind of like asking yourself, you still have half a year of 2024. What would you like to commit yourself to? Committing to 2 study group is going to be a stretch for some people. So I'm not going to say everybody do 2.
Because it means if you don't have 2 looms, you need to double up your weaving time.
Yeah, you need to be weaving fast.
People who have 4 weeks to weave, you only have 2 weeks for each project.
So I've only given 4 weeks in between projects. Yeah, so 6 weeks including planning 6 weeks per project. So just need to take that into consideration when you sign up. If this goes well, likely we'll keep some of the themes and run it again next year for study groups. But yeah, that is largely it. If you have any suggestions of what you want to see in the studio, in our videos, in our study groups,
let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We really want to know how, as a studio, we can really help build this particular fiber community.
Because there are some people who want a particular type of assistance or a type of facilitation.
Then
let us know. Yeah, let us know, and then we can figure things out.
So I think that is about it. Alright, thank you everybody. We will maybe see you in the next video, maybe June, I'm not sure.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Bye.